everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 335. Andrew here. Hello, Chaos. Alright. Golly gee willikers and heck. What do you think I'm going to talk about this week? Well, 2 weeks ago we talked about, or I yammered on and on. It's not like this is a two-way discussion for the most part. But I yammered incessantly about the couple not E3 video game pressers that I'd seen. Then last week I yammered on about the rest of them and all the games I found interesting. Well, Nintendo did its own not E3 Nintendo Direct digital games presentation event, and I watched it, and I have thoughts, which I will regale you with, no doubt. So I have on my screen in front of me a list of everything that was shown at the Nintendo Direct. But first, I would like to say, has anyone checked in on Retro Studios? Are they okay? I hope so. Starting to wonder, taking a good sniff, see if I can waft any telltale scent of something died and rotting. Something that is dead and rotting. It's a shame, because Retro Studios, quality studio, has outputted some great games over the last 20 years, or at least over a 10 or so year span a decade ago. Hasn't really done much of late. Really, the last game that Retro Studios put out was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U back in 2014 or so. Nearly 10 years ago. I mean, it's not like they've been radio silent since then. Hell, in 2018 they released a port of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I'm sorry, Donkey Kong Country Returns Tropical Freeze, I think is what it's called. For the Switch. And let's not forget that they helped out on Mario Kart 7. I think that was 3DS after 2014, so... Oh, and, the Metroid Prime remake, upscale, remaster, whatever it's called. Seriously, someone go knock on Retro Studios' door and see if they're okay. Wellness check is needed. I mean, I know they're supposed to be working on Metroid Prime 4. They've been doing that for like 4 years now. Apparently, I think it was Bandai Namco that wasn't cutting the mustard, so Nintendo scrapped the project and threw it at Retro Studio. Actually, you know what I'd like to see? Something I've wanted to see for a long, long time now. I love Donkey Kong Country Returns. Tropical Freeze is probably one of the best 2D side-scrolling platformers ever. The Metroid Prime games are great. I'd really love to see Retro Studios just make an original title. Just throw money at them and say, hey, go hog wild, kids. Let's, you're great at Metroid. You're great at Donkey Kong. You really helped out on Mario Kart. But, hey, you've earned it. Make something you're passionate about. Maybe we'll see that someday. At this point, I suspect that Metroid Prime 4 is probably going to be the Switch's swan song, or a launch title for whatever the successor of the Switch is. Hi, Jared. And Chaos seems to agree. He says, I think at this point Metroid Prime 4 will be a next-gen game. Yeah. Chaos also says, several games from the Direct that I will buy, but the Star Ocean remake made me sit up and my jaw drop. Can't recommend it enough. Okay, well, we'll get there. So let's go through it. But first, we need to talk about the Pokemon Company and Game Freak and Creatures, that development group there, because they're very bad at video games, particularly the 3D ones of late. I don't know what's going on. Nintendo, do you have any, like, engineers and artists that you could spare and send them that way to show them how to do? Because they do not know. That is abundantly clear with their output in the last few years. Their output is embarrassing. It's like some of the crap you see on Steam. It's like, oh my god, I realize this is open to anyone to publish a game, but why doesn't anyone have any standards? So the Nintendo Direct opened with The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, which is DLC. It looks terrible. I mean, it may be fun to play, particularly if you're a fan of Pokemon, but it looks terrible. You know, Pokemon Arceus looks terrible. I mean, incompetent kind of terrible. It just looks awful. It looks like a game made by people who just genuinely don't know how to make 3D games, which doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them operating outside their wheelhouse, perhaps. And this Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are no different, and neither is the DLC. It genuinely looks bad. I would be embarrassed to have this on my show or my console. I hope it's not just cynical, like it's like they're not trying because it's Pokemon and they know Pokemon fans will buy anything no matter how garbage it is. I hope it's not that. That's kind of crummy. But I'm not really a Pokemon fan, so I guess it doesn't affect me too much. Jared says, I can now play the game people have told me to play. Not as bad as Gollum, though. Yeah, what's the developer for that? I forget. The publisher, like, spent a lot of money on the Lord of the Rings rights. And this was the game they came out with. It's like, oh, our investment, no. Hi, Lee. I mean, at least the games, if you like Pokemon, reportedly play well. Like, they're fun to play. They're just, I mean, not like Bethesda level glitchy from what I understand, but, I mean, I've never heard of the game. They're glitchy. There's weird crap going on, but it's usually like funny stuff instead of game-breaking stuff. Don't know what's going on there. Anyway, next was Sonic Superstars. And if you like Sonic, maybe you'll like Sonic Superstars. I've never liked Sonic, so I don't care. Well, I'll get to Super Mario RPG eventually. I'm going in order. Next we have Pollia, which I'm going to have to look and see what the hell that is, because I don't remember. Oh yeah, Farming Sim. Looks a little dull, but, you know, it's a farming sim. Very difficult to have farming sims look, really pop. Persona 5 Tactica, we saw that in one of the previous streams from weeks back. That's coming to Switch, so cool. Myth Force is a animated... It's being billed as a Saturday morning cartoon game that you can play. It's a dungeon crawler with fantasy D&D aesthetics. It's a multiplayer game, so it's not really my speed, but, you know, it's got a nice look to it. Splatoon 3 is still a thing, and they're doing a Splatfest, and they're saying, hey, which would you rather? Vanilla ice cream, strawberry ice cream, or mint chocolate chip ice cream? Would you like the blandest ice cream, one of the blandest ice creams, or an actual flavor? Well, me, I'd go for mint chocolate chip because that's yum. I would, I'll eat ice cream if you put it in front of me, but I would never buy vanilla ice cream. I'd never buy strawberry either. And I love strawberries. Never buy chocolate. I'd never buy Neapolitan. I mean, vanilla is like it's the ice cream that everyone can tolerate unless you have an allergy to vanilla or something like that. But I also know that some people just can't stand mint, so, Anyway, Splatfest. Yay. Maybe there'll be a Foam Warriors, that game, which is a Splatoon ripoff, but they're spurting foam all over the place. Maybe they'll have a crossover. That could be fun. So, next is a Switch port of Detective Pikachu. And I was like, okay, well, that explains why this looks like ass, because it's a port of a 3DS game. So, of course, unless they wanted to completely remake the thing, of course it's going to look a little ass on the Switch. Oh, it's not a port? Oh, it's a brand new game developed specifically for the Switch? Oh. Once again, Nintendo, this is embarrassing. You really need to help the Pokemon Company and subsidiaries out, because there's no excuse for it to look this amateurish and bad. Again, I'm sure the game's perfectly fun, but my gracious, why do the Pokemon games look so garbage? I mean, they look like they're like 15 years old on older consoles. Why? Are you not throwing money at Pokemon? Or again, maybe it's like, why put in the effort and resources? They'll buy whatever we put out there. I mean, the Detective Pikachu movie looked really good. It actually was really good. I enjoyed Detective Pikachu. I thought it was fun. The movie. But Detective Pikachu Returns, which looks like ass, it looks so ass, I genuinely thought it was a port of a 10-year-old 3DS game. It is not. But they follow that up with Super Mario RPG, a remake of the Super NES Super Mario RPG. And it looks gorgeous. I guess because it's not made by Pokemon Company, Game Freak, Creatures, or any of that group. It looks lovely. All you folks who've been champing at the bit for Geno, same game, but you got him in HD now, so yay. Looks great. Looks good. It's got a nice style to it. Yeah, you might be wondering, hey Andrew, are you going to get Super Mario RPG remake? No. No? But you love Mario. I do. You love RPGs. I do. Well, why aren't you getting the admitted really good-looking Super Mario RPG? Well, because I've already played it. I played it like 30 years ago. It's good. I recommend it. If you've never played it, yeah, go get the Switch version, I guess. I don't know how easy it is to find the Super NES version, but I already played it. It looks like it's exactly the same game, just with a makeover, which is great. Nothing wrong with that, but I already played it. So, also, I don't think Super Mario RPG is that good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's a solid game. It's good. I liked it. I just don't think it's that good. Like, it's up on a pedestal that I would not have placed it on myself. Again, it's good. I just was never that blown away by it. Like, when I was a teenager, I played it. I'm like, it's good. And then, over subsequent years, oh man, it's the best game. It's such an amazing... I'm like, really? I thought it was good, but... I think Paper Mario's better. Of course, Mario RPG, a lot of... it has that turn-based battles, but with the action buttons, where if you hit the button right as you attack, or right as you're getting attacked, you do extra damage, or take less damage as you would defend. That was, adapted for Paper Mario, and then, of course, they had the subsequent Thousand Year Door, a game I actually do feel is as good as everyone says. Thousand Year Door is really, really good. But looks great. Oh, hey, let's see. RPG is the game, by the way. What's your... Lee says, okay, you've seen Sonic Central. That did more Sonic stuff Nintendo Direct didn't do. I did not watch that. I don't care. I just... Jared's a vanilla man. No mint for him. Doesn't like mint. Yeah, some people just genuinely don't like mint. And... yeah, that's... it's an interesting dividing line. I don't know anyone who's just kind of meh on mint. I know people who like mint, and I know people like, no, can't stand it. It's one of those things, I guess you either like it or you don't. Chaos says, only one that doesn't is new Pokemon Snap, but that wasn't made by Game Freak. Yeah, come to think of it, what I saw of new Pokemon Snap looked nice, but who did that game? Let's do a quick Google. New Pokemon Snapperoo. Oh, Bandai Namco. Okay. There you go. Yeah, it wasn't made by Creatures Game Freak, so alright. Let's see. It's Square usually the Mario RPG? Yeah, well, I don't know what... now Square Enix, of course, but I don't know what input they have in the Super Mario RPG remake. Possibly none. But yeah, this was a collaboration between Nintendo and, at the time, Square, before they bought Enix. No idea what input they have into the update, if any. Let's see. Lee says, I've played it, have Super NES version, but still getting on Switch. Great. Let's see. Jared says, not Mario 64 good, you would say. I would say Mario 64 is better than Mario RPG. Very different games, but yeah, I would say better game. I enjoy it more anyway. I also think that 64 definitely deserves the pedestal it has been placed on. Not the first 3D game, but the first that really mattered. Yeah, I played Panzer Dragoon or whatever it was on the Saturn. It sucks. It was ugly. So, anyway. So we're gonna... another Princess Peach game for the Switch, which they didn't even give us a title for, which... oh well. I like the aesthetic. We appear to be doing a... Peach's game appears to exist as a play on a stage, and as a theater kid myself, I like that. I like when they do that. They did that with the early Paper Mario games, where the whole thing is taking place on stage in front of an audience. Super Mario Brothers 3 has a on-stage aesthetic too. I love that kind of stuff, and this one really looks like it might be milking that style for all it's worth. So be interesting to see what comes of that. And we're getting a port of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which was the 3DS Luigi's Mansion, which I never finished. I didn't like that game. The structure of the game, completely appropriate for a handheld, I admit, I just did not like. How the game works is you have certain missions that you need to complete. So you go into the mansion, and as soon as you complete a mission, you are immediately booted out of the mansion. Which, as a handheld game, kind of makes sense, because it's meant to be played in short sittings, like 20 minutes while you're on the bus, if you go on the bus. But that's not how I play. When I play, I sit and I play for a while. You've seen my streams. I sit for 5 hours and play video games. I don't want to play for 20 minutes, and the game just kept frustrating me by constantly kicking me out of the mansion and having me to go back in to do whatever other stuff I wanted to do. Also, the game was it's a solid game, but man, there's only like 4 or 5 enemy types in that game. It's kind of dull in a lot of ways. But they didn't really talk about Dark Moon for the Switch much. Maybe they've rejiggered how the game works a bit. Probably not. But if they have, it might be worth a second look. Mario 64 camera is trash. Well, by today's standards, the we didn't have a second stick for the camera back in the day, so the camera was very digital. Top button to zoom in, bottom button to zoom out, pan at fixed intervals left and right. That's how you move the camera in Mario 64. And it works, but yeah, cameras have come a long way in the last 25 years, so... when did that come out? 16... Yeah, more than that. But, God, I'm old. But, yeah. Let's see what's next. Oh, hey, the Batman Arkham trilogy, that's coming to Switch. Yeah, I'm sure the second game particularly will run very well on the Switch. Who knows. But, yeah, I played Arkham Asylum. It was fun. I know I have Arkham City. I never got around to actually trying it. Gloomhaven. Shit, I don't even remember. Let me look. What is Gloomhaven? Oh, kind of a fantasy card battler thing. It's a adaptation of a tabletop game. Sure. What's next? Just Dance gets its 2024 edition. It's Just Dance. You know exactly what it is. Silent Hope. What the hell is that? I don't remember. Oh, right. So it looks like it's a anime-y RPG kind of thing. You have 7 protagonists, and they're all silent protagonists. A silent hope, you see. Will they be able to find their voices to beat the Demon King or whatever? It could be interesting, but from the trailer they showed, the fact that the 7 protagonists have no voice doesn't seem to play into anything. Don't know if it does or not, but maybe it's like the first Purge movie where it has this really interesting setup that it doesn't do anything with. It's just a home invasion movie and not a particularly good one. Fae Farm. It's another farming sim, but with fairies. So a little lighter on the color palette than Palia is. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged. It's a racing game with the Hot Wheels brand. Yay! Manic Mechanics. What's the Overcooked? There's a 4-player simultaneous kitchen management cooking party game. This is exactly that, except you work in a junkyard and you have to assemble cars. So if you like one, this one looks like it's the same exact thing. New DLC for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Cool. If you like that, yeah, more stuff. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. I love Dragon Quest, but I don't care for Pokemon. I don't like the gather and recruit monsters to fight for you genre of RPG. I just, for some reason, that It's weird. You'd think that would appeal to me, but it just generally does not. I'm not really sure why, but it don't. Pikmin 4 still looks like Pikmin. I'll definitely get it. I like Pikmin. That dog still looks really weird with no nose, though. It's a very odd design decision. The Poochie dog, it's very cute, but it has no nose, and that's weird. Oh, and there are ghost Pikmin, so that's neat. You can go out at night and get ghost Pikmin. I like to think that these are the wandering souls of all the Pikmin that you led to their deaths. All the ones that drowned. Blue ones go in the water. All the ones that got eaten. All the Pikmin that you led to their deaths. These are the restless souls. Wouldn't it be an interesting mechanic if you didn't actually find those green glowing ghost Pikmin at night, that you had to actually, if you wanted ghost Pikmin to do whatever it is you do at night in the game, you had to purposefully get your Pikmin killed to grow your ghost army? I doubt it's like that. It's probably just another Pikmin type, but they don't have legs. They do float off the ground. They do look like ghost Pikmin to me. Let's see. Where are we going? 97? What's 97? Mario 64? I think it was 96. Yeah, because the 64 came out in November of 96, I think. And Mario 64 launched with it, with Pilot Wings 64. I think it's like October, or maybe the games were available in October and the system came out in November. I don't remember. Somewhere around there. So a little over 30 years. You got it in the next one, 96, yeah. It's only if you haven't bought any for the PS5, but if you have, it's not worth it. Not sure what that's in response to. Let's see. Arkham Asylum and City should run just fine. I'm curious to see how Night runs. The physical version will have will only have Asylum on the cartridge. The physical version will only have Asylum. Oh, meaning that City and the other one are just digital downloads? That sucks. Okay, so 96 for Japan and America, 97 for the rest of the world. Okay. Yeah. Lee says it's just same game with everything in it, also DLC. That's true. The Batman Arkham Trilogy, all the DLC is included, so that's cool. If you missed these games, if somehow you've made it through your gaming career having never played any of the Arkham games, well, here you go. If you'd like to play them, if you'd like to play inferior versions of the games, I'm just making an assumption that they don't look as good or run as well on Switch. But you know what? Maybe the first Arkham Asylum will run just fine on look and run just fine on the Switch. Who knows? I do not. Doesn't the dog only have 2 legs? It might. I don't remember if it only has 2 legs. I remember it has no nose. I couldn't get past its nose. Lee says, why is Disney dragging their feet on Kingdom Hearts 4? It's been years since they did a trailer of number 4. Did they do a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4? I don't remember that. You're talking about Batman when... Oh, for the... Yeah, okay, that makes sense, sure. Alright, where were we? Pikmin 4. Oh, Metal Gear Solid, the Master Collection, Volume 1, which includes, let's see, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, plus the 2 different versions of the original Metal Gear and Metal Snake's Revenge, or whatever. There's 4, like, old NES games, or actually I think 2 are... I don't remember, but there's like 4 games. Plus they've got comic books, and it is a hell of a collection. I was like, this couldn't possibly be... It is Konami? Really? Since when did they give a shit? They must have contracted that out to someone. But it does look like a genuinely great collection of Metal Gear games. The only thing it seems to be missing is, well, the GameCube version, Twin Snakes, and the Subsistence and something DLCs, or was it DLC or was it a different release? I don't remember. 4, 2, and 3. But a lot comes with that. Now, the thing that amuses me most is I've seen a lot of entertainment outlets this week, for some reason, publish articles like they've cracked the code, like they have this keen insight that they're like, breaking news, we're probably going to get a Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 with, 4 and 5 and Peace Walker in it. Yeah, probably. What was your first hint? Was it the fact that this collection is called Volume 1? Volume 1 does imply a Volume 2. So, good job, Entertainment Press. That's some journalism right there. You cracked the code. Well done. Jesus Christ. I mean, God. Stop presenting it like it's this big revelation that only you figured out because you're a smarty pants. Come on. Everyone figured there would be a Volume 2 with the other games in it. Come on. Oi. Oi, I say. Let's see. Chaos says Metal Gear Solid Collection won't actually have any games on the physical Switch version. Yeah, that's been an annoying trend. Oh, we're releasing a physical version! No, you're not. You're releasing a box with a download code in it. I mean, I appreciate you releasing a box, because I like putting stuff on my shelf, but... Yeah, I mean, yeah, carts are expensive, but... Jared says the Disney license for it expired, to my knowledge, so it's in Square's court. Oh, for Kingdom Hearts? Okay. Chaos says Volume 1 implies Volume 2 unless you are the Traveling Wilburys and jump right to Volume 3. Sure. I'm just going to pretend I get that reference, yes. Alright, Vampire Survivors. It's coming to Switch. It's the game that you just don't do anything. Your character just auto-attacks. So it's like cookie clicker. You just don't have to click the cookie. You just... I guess you do move around. You have to, I guess, dodge, kite enemies around the field so they don't touch you, but... Maybe there's some strategy in the stuff you pick, but I've seen clips of people playing that game just standing there while their dude just slaughters all the hordes of enemies that run up on him. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm not saying it's dumb. I'm saying I haven't played it, so I don't get it yet because I can't get it because I haven't played it. But maybe one day I'll give it a try, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I get why this is fun. Cool. I mean, it'd be at least a very easy game to get into, because, all you do is... It's like, alright, how do I play this game? Just don't let the enemies touch you. Which buttons do I press? None of them. Leave them alone. It auto-attacks. Just avoid the enemies. So, a very beginner-friendly game, at the very least. And, from what I understand, when you beat a level... I think there's 30 levels and each one has a minute timer, so you just have to survive for a minute. And between each level, you equip better and better weapons. Like it randomly rolls you 3 weapons and you pick one or something like that. So the further you get, the more enemies come at you, but the bigger weapon loadout you have, to the point where you get to the end of the run, you can just kind of stand there and slaughter everything. So possibly the idea is... like Monster Hunter, you start out, naked and afraid. But as you kill enemies and move forward, you use their parts to build better weapons and armor until you become an invincible hunter of giant monsters. Maybe Vampire Survivors is something similar, where, it's actually quite difficult in the beginning, but you work to build your character and load them out and make them an invincible, godly badass, and it's just super satisfying to just, you know what? Just gonna stand there and just lean back and bask in satisfaction as my overpowered character just eliminates an entire screen full of enemies all by himself. Maybe that's the appeal. Again, I don't know. I haven't played it, so. Let's see. Chaos says that it's Switch download. The physical Switch version of Metal Gear will have a cartridge, but it's just got a download key on it. Oh, that's... yeah. Who do you think you're fooling there? Jared says, it's only $4 on Steam. I'll buy it for you. Okay. You know what I actually bought this week on Steam? Crosscode. I was talking about that last week or the week before. I don't know when I'm going to get around to trying it, but it was on sale for like 75% off. It's like $5. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll try this at some point. Oh, the levels are 30 minutes each? I thought it was 30 levels 1 minute each. So I thought one run was 30 minutes, but okay. Each character starts only with one specific weapon. Oh, so is it like you have a couple characters to pick from? So you like have a barbarian with a sword and a wizard with a staff and a thief with a dagger, and you go from there. Okay. Yeah, cool. All right, Vampire Survivors, Headbangers Rhythm Royale. It's a rhythm mini games party game with pigeons. Looks cute. Also looks cute, Penny's Big Breakaway, which is a 3D platformer, and you play a gal with a yo-yo, and you use the yo-yo to get around. So you can, instead of walking the dog, that yo-yo dog walks you, I guess. You can fling it out and use it as a whip to swing on stuff, Spider-Man style. It looks cute. If it plays well, it could be fun, you know? Who knows? It's bright, it's colorful, it's cheery, it's a character with a yo-yo. There you go. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 5. Booster Course Pass Wave 5. Wow, that's a name. 2 new characters, and you get to race around a bathroom, I think it was. So, cool. Star Ocean, The Second Story. R. I don't know what the R is. Sometimes Japan will put an R at the end of a title for some reason. I don't know, like another code R. I don't know what they're doing. I think Trace Memory or something like that had an R version of it too. So this is a remake of Star Ocean 2, and they're doing kind of a Octopath Traveler thing where they're keeping pixel character sprites on a 3D world. It's actually aesthetically a pleasing juxtaposition, I think. I think it looks quite attractive. And that's actually a game I've never played, so yeah, it's a big RPG, looks nice. Apparently has both Japanese and English voiceover, so very cool. Although it's also one of those games, I think, where you pick which character you want to start with, and it plays a bit different depending on which character you want. And I'm like, I don't want to play through the game twice, though. Especially if it's like really, really long. We'll see. Lee says the pigeon one I don't really like. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with the way it looks, but it's just a little rhythm mini game collection. It's fine for what it is, I suppose, but yeah, it doesn't really appeal to me either. Chaos says Star Ocean 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. R stands for remake. Oh, is that what they're... Oh, no, that makes sense. Highly recommended. Okay, well, I'll keep my eye on it, though. Getting to the end here. WarioWare. Move it! It's WarioWare, but you use the Joy-Cons to move it. It's WarioWare. I actually played one WarioWare game. I actually played... which one was the Wii one? Smooth Moves or something? I played that at E3 back in 2006. I also played... which one was it? WarioWare Inc. maybe, but it was on the handheld, and I genuinely didn't like it. I was really surprised. I was like, this game is boring. Well, it was the one that had multiple characters in it, where you selected different characters. I don't remember why I didn't like it. Maybe it was because I was playing it while in the waiting room of a car dealership while my car was being serviced. Maybe it was just the ambiance made me not like the game. It's important where you play, too. Let's see. There's amiibo figures of Zelda and Ganondorf from Tears of the Kingdom, and Ganondorf has very tiny feet for some reason. Look at the amiibo. He's got really, really short tootsies. Star Ocean 2 was originally on the original PlayStation. Lee says, I don't like to move much while playing video games. Yeah, generally, I'm sit on the couch and enjoy. Yeah, you know, video games for me is relax time. I don't want to... Like, the first game that ever actually made me stand up to play was, like, Guitar Hero. I was, like, okay standing up to play that one, but, and I've never bothered with VR. I could try it someday, but I'm not sticking my head in a VR helmet that a bunch of random people in, you know, Walmart or Fry's Electronics, if that hasn't closed, you know, been sticking their heads into all day, so... And I'm certainly not dropping hundreds of dollars to, you know, try it at home. All right, so last game is Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which has moved away from the new aesthetic. Back in 2000, Nintendo came out with New Super Mario Brothers, and then New Super Mario Brothers Wii, and New Super Mario Brothers U, and New Super Mario Brothers 2, and they've been using that style for 15 years, which is weird because Super Mario Brothers has always radically changed its style. I mean, granted, the second game is a reskin of a completely different game, but even if you want to ignore that one, look at 1 and 3. I mean, they play very similar. They're both definitely Super Mario Brothers games, but they look completely... They have their own unique style. Same thing with Super Mario World. Same thing with Super Mario World 2. And so on and so forth until you got to New Super Mario Brothers, and then Nintendo just, for some reason, was just like, this is it. This is the aesthetic. And if you didn't find that particular aesthetic pleasing, well, you're SOL for 15 years. But now we've got Super Mario Wonder, which has a completely new aesthetic and one I find quite pleasing and adorable. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. Although while I was watching the trailer, and you know, Mario touches the blue flower and things get all wobbly and the pipes come to life and start inchworm crawling all over the place, I'm like, they better be calling this Mario's Trip. I mean, he's at an Odyssey. I think we can get away with calling it Mario's Trip, and that would be really funny. But no, it's just called Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and that's a bad title. That's a really crap title. It doesn't flow at all. It's very stilted and awkward. Maybe it works really well in Japanese. I don't know. I don't like the title, but the game does look really nice and looks fun. So, looking forward to Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Oh, and it's got Elephant Mario in it. Yeah, that looks neat. I can't wait to see what Elephant, Peach, and Toad, and Daisy, and who else is in it? And Luigi look like. I imagine we can take a while to guess what Elephant Luigi looks like, but I'm interested to see what Toad and the princesses look like in elephant form. All right, so solid presentation from Nintendo as per usual. Just if I may recommend two things. Number one, do a wellness check on Retro Studios. Make sure they're not, dead and their horrible bloating corpses aren't stinking up an empty office building. And please send some engineers and artists over to, Pokemon companies so they can distribute them among like Game Freak and Creatures and stuff like that, so that they're 3D Pokemon games don't look like butt. You know? I mean, wouldn't it be nice if your Pokemon games that everyone loves actually looked really good too? I mean, I'm still not buying them, but I think it would be nice. Mario Wonder says Chicago seems to deviate from Mario saving Peach, at least. Oh, as far as a setup for the yeah. True. Don't know what they're doing. Seems to be a green caterpillar with a crown somewhere, so maybe the green caterpillar is the ruler of Wonderland or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. I wonder how early they had the Elephant Mario design. Where there were probably conversations like, should we debut the Elephant Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie? Just have this new power up in the movie for some reason. Technically, it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland, so it seems more like you touch fuzzy, you get dizzy. It seems more like a drug trip. I like mine better, but yeah, Super Mario Brothers trip, Wild Trip, Wonder Trip. There you go. I don't know. I thought it was funny. So okay, so that's that. New Marvel show out this week, or at least the first episode. Secret Invasion. I watched it. And of course, I'm going to talk about the intro. As with lots of television shows, Secret Invasion has a title sequence. And title sequences are fun. Or they can be, anyway. They're a great way to set a mood. And flex some artistic creativity. Well, Secret Invasion's intro is done with AI. Which is a choice. So, let's, I'm going to assume that the choice to use AI to render the title sequence for Secret Invasion, one, cost absolutely no one their jobs, and two, was not used as an excuse to underpay the people who didn't lose their job, and three, all of the art that the AI program was trained on was sourced ethically and fairly with permission, consent, and compensation to all the original artists. I'm going to just assume all of that, because that's the actual important stuff. So, if we assume that, then we can move past the important stuff to the not so important stuff, which is what I want to talk about. Now, why the Heavenly Biscuits would Secret Invasion's title sequence be done using AI? So glad you asked. Because, you see, Secret Invasion is about the Skrulls, who are a peoples who make unconsensual copies of other things to pass off as original. So you see, using AI to make non-consensual copies of other things to pass off as original work is a thematically appropriate approach to use to set the tone for the show. Right? Ah, really cool, right? Here's the thing, though. I actually don't care how thematically appropriate the usage of AI is in the intro to Secret Invasion. Because it looks like shit. Glad no one lost their job. I'm glad everyone was paid fairly. And I'm glad the art that was used to train the AI software was obtained fairly and ethically. And yes, I think the thematic tie-in is very clever and interesting, but it doesn't matter because, again, your intro looks like shit. Like hot, steaming garbage. It looks terrible. It's ugly. You genuinely would have been better off paying artists to make you an intro. It would look less crap. Did they outsource it to Game Freak or Creatures or something like that? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so, that was an ill-advised move. I mean, probably not a great move even if it didn't look like butt. You know, just because of this moment in time with the whole WGA and others strike going on right now where people are fighting week after week to, be able to make a living. And then Disney comes out, it's like, oh, hey, we used AI to make our intro sequence. It looks like shit. You're going to watch it anyway, aren't you? I mean, I'd like to think that I would have had the foresight to see something that obvious coming and would have been like, you know what, let's not do that. It's a headache we don't need. Even if I was a money-grubbing CEO who cared nothing for anyone else's lives. I'd be like, I just don't need the headache. I don't need the bad publicity. Let's just not have an intro sequence. Or for Christ's sake, just pay your fucking artists, right? You get happy employees, everyone's happy with you, and you get a title sequence that doesn't look like roadkill. I mean, if you haven't seen it, words do not quite convey how utterly ass this intro looks. It's really bad. It's embarrassing. Like Pokemon Company's 3D games. First episode was okay, though. I mean, the first episode is just... It's not really anything to talk about yet. It's just laying the groundwork. So... A lot of dead women furthering the plot in this first episode, though. Just, something I observed. Oh, hey, what happened to that woman? Oh, she died, so now I'm going to go do this. She died off screen to further your character arc and kick the plot into motion, huh? Well, that's a choice. Probably no one's going to, look askance at that. It's like, oh, no, don't worry. We have another female character that we murder on screen in order to further male character's development and kick the plot off. I'm like, oh, good. Dude. And it's like, yeah, people die in narratives all the time. Totally fine. But when the character doesn't seem to have, like, any function beyond that, and the character I'm talking about really didn't, in fact, she's so useless in this episode that her function is completely duplicated by another character. The dialogue's almost exactly the same. She was only there to die, and that's unfortunate. Like, have you seen the special editions of the Star Wars movies? You remember, in the original Star Wars, right? Han Solo gets stopped by Greedo in the canteen, and they have a argument about Jabba the Hutt is looking for him because he's pissed because Han was smuggling something, and he just shot it out into space the moment he was bordered by the Empire. So That whole thing, right? Well, when the special editions came around, they're like, oh, hey, we've got this old archive footage of the actor we originally hired to play Jabba the Hutt before we knew he was going to be a giant slug monster. So wouldn't it be fun to just animate the giant slug monster and incorporate that scene back into the movie? Yeah, that would be neat. And it was neat. It's really interesting to see. But the problem is that the dialogue between Han and Greedo is almost exactly the same, in some cases word for word, as it is between Han and Jabba. It's the same damn scene. You can't have both. Or, well, I mean, you can. They did. But you really shouldn't have both because it's the same scene that conveys the same information with some of the same dialogue. It's ill-advised filmmaking, says I, random dude on the internet who does not make films. So, should definitely listen to what I say when it comes to filmmaking, because, you know, I know what's up. I've got a degree in electronics engineering. So, let's see. Jared says, how much of it was original, though? Yeah, you mean the art that they used for the training the AI to draw the opening title sequence? I have no idea. To be honest, it probably came across clearly, but my main concern is, you know, them trying to cut jobs or underpay people by using AI to render their title sequences instead of paying people to do it like they should and like they can easily afford. This is Disney, for Christ's sake. They have the money to do it, they just don't want to. It's like, oh no, it's thematically appropriate. Yeah, it's an excuse. No one's buying it. Stop doing that. Just pay people. You know, until we reach a point where people don't need to work, right? Then, you know, then cut all the jobs you want. But currently, we live in a place where most people have to work to live. You know, working isn't something most of us choose to do. It's something we have to do because if we don't work, we don't have food or homes or health care. That stuff is not provided to us. So we have to work. So when you're like, you know, it would be cheaper for me to just cut these jobs or underpay people and do it with a computer. And it's like, yeah, you can, but you shouldn't if you don't have to. But again, if we lived in a society / culture / world where everyone was taken care of, then it's like, yeah, okay, go for it. Doesn't matter. I mean, cut all the jobs you want. It's not like anyone's going to fall into poverty, right? Because everyone's taken care of. No one goes hungry, no one goes unhoused, and no one goes without the health care they need. We make sure of that. So we can do things like, let's eliminate these positions. We don't need them. We've got machines and computers to do the work for us. Cool. Everyone who wants to work can. People who don't. Can't live as lavishly as, you know, people who make extra money, but, you know, it's fine. Ah, well. One can dream. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. I think we're good. I watched all the Purge movies. I'm trying to think of another series of films where the first film was not very good and the sequels were, like, genuinely really strong. I was really impressed with all the Purge sequels. There's some solid genre filmmaking right there. I think the first movie is kind of lousy, actually. But the sequels are... I haven't seen the TV show. I'm kind of wondering if the TV show is any good. I also today watched the more recent Evil Dead movies. The one from 2013 and the Evil Dead Rise that just came out a few months ago, I think. I've seen all the Evil Dead movies. I also have not seen the TV show. I was never a big fan of the Evil Dead movies. I like them just fine. They're fine. You know, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. They're fine. I enjoyed them well enough. Saw the 2013 version today. I thought it was fine. Liked it well enough. Evil Dead Rise is definitely by far and away my favorite of the Evil Dead films. I thought it was actually pretty solid. I quite enjoyed that one. So I haven't seen any anime lately. I should try and find some anime to watch. Oh, I finally watched it. I forget the person's name, but whoever recommended. Shit, forgot the name. Is it Night Watch, Night Wolf, something like that? Hang on. Someone asked me to check out Night Wish. There we go. Night Watch, Night Wolf. I was close. Night Wish. So yeah, I listened to some of their discography, and very interesting musical style fusion. Listen to 5 or 6 of their tunes. Yeah. Thank you, whoever it was that recommended that. I had a fun time checking out some of their music. So, alright, that's it for today. Tomorrow is Sunday, which means we will stream on Sunday stream, and we're doing still June, right? Yes, Trails from Zero. Maybe we'll finish up day 4. Oshi no Ko. Okay. Okay, let's see how well talk to text actually. Oshi no Ko. Pretty close. It wrote coal instead of ko, but that's pretty close. I'm not too bad. You got Oshi correct. Symphonic power metal. Yeah, that's right. It's a fusion of symphony and Jesus Christ, you just wrote it. It's symphonic power metal. Yeah, exactly that. What you just said, Chaos. I don't know why I'm trying to restate what you just very clearly laid out. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's very, very interesting. Also, group's apparently been around for quite a while. It's gone through like at least 3 different leads. And their lead singer's name is Floor. First time I've ever heard anyone's name Floor before. That's a cool name. Probably not an American name, Finnish or something, but that's Floor Johnson. I don't know. I saw the name of the credits. And I was like, that's neat. Her name is Floor. But don't you walk on her. She will bite you after kicking your ass and then biting you again. So anyway, all right, more Trails from Zero tomorrow. What are we doing? We cleared out the ancient battlefield. We took all of Grace's pictures, so we need to go back to the Crossbell News Service, whatever it's called, and submit that, and then see what other trouble we can get into before we close out day 4. 3 singers: Tarja, Annette, and now so these are the leads that they. Oh, so they've always had a female frontwoman. Cool. Tarja, Annette, and Floor. Oh, I got Finnish right. I could not. I must have read that at some point. There's no way I just picked that out of a hat. We might get to Mishiland tomorrow because that's been my goal. If we hit day 5, I'm assuming that we're going to get there somehow to try and see what we're going to do about the secret auction that everybody knows about. So, Vinland Saga? I've heard that name. Vinland Saga. Got that correct. I watched another anime that has saga in the name. It's a musical. It's got zombies in it. It's basically what if we did a musical girl group anime show, but all of the characters were zombie. Wait, is Zombieland Saga? I think it's that simple. That was a weird show because for the first season at least, I kept going back and forth episode with each subsequent episode between just kind of despising the show and loving it. Ultimately, I ended up really enjoying the show just because I liked the music. And also it can be quite funny, but man, I think like the first episode I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting, let's check out episode 2, and I went, oh god, this is horrible. And then episode 3 I was like, that was really funny and it had some really good music, let's check out episode, oh Jesus, this is horrible. And I kept going back and forth. Weirdest, most uneven show I've seen, but yeah. Alright, well anyway, thank you everyone for the suggestions. I will try to remember to actually look at them. Today has been I'm very tired. I got up this morning and I went back to sleep. And then I got up again and I exercised and then I went back to sleep. And I got up and I ate breakfast and I think I watched Evil Dead and then I went back to sleep. Oh my god. I was planning of actually, shaving and cutting my hair and taking a shower, but I didn't. Because I fell asleep again and woke up at like 6:30. I'm like, I don't have time to do all that before the podcast. So I'll do that now. I've just been... Long week. I was actually planning on going to the drive-in to see Spider-Man and whatever, I think Transformers is double featuring with it. I was so busy this week, I forgot to go to the drive-in. It wasn't like I was too busy to go. I didn't even think, I just completely forgot to do so. That's been my week. So, alright. Everyone have an awesome night, and hope to see y'all tomorrow for some Trails from Zero goodness. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.